Hi, it's Doug from Rise Above Performance Training. Today I'm going to do a video demonstration of the drills I talked about in my upcoming article in My Mad Methods magazine. If you guys don't have this, you should pick it up. It's a great magazine. It's the only one that talks about unconventional training and training the whole body in different ways using kettlebells and unconventional tools. So check it out. So in the article I talked about how to move up to the next kettlebell. I get a lot of questions about, I can do it with a certain amount of weight, but how do I move to the next one? So simply, you can't just grab a bell and just go for it. Some exercises are a little bit easier to do than others, swings compared to snatches or cleans. However, you got to do some remedial drills to get to that point. First things first, always practice good technique as much as you can. Sometimes maximal reps don't look as pretty as the other ones, but you don't want to make it a habit of doing reps that are just putting you in an awkward position, for injuries and things like that. And also, you're going to have to spend time with the heavier bell. It doesn't necessarily mean if you're practicing swings that you got to swing it all the time. You have to either rack and hold it or do farmer's walks and things like that. So you just got to get used to the weight. So going from there, we're going to do 2 drills for 3 or 4 of the common movements to help you get to that next bell. And the first one we'll talk about is a swing. So let's assume that this is the next weight up for me and I'm having trouble swinging it. One of the drills I like is called a stop swing or a power swing. Mark Rifkin of Strong First is really big into these, and I kind of got this from him. So what you're going to do is you're going to set up in your swing position. You're going to do one strong swing and set it down. So let's just do a 2-arm swing for this case. I'm going to lock everything down, set myself up, hike it through, one strong swing, set the bell down. We can do it single arm as well. Lock down, hike it through, set it down. Then you can build up on it, so you can just hike it through and do 2 reps, set it down, until you're able to work up to a set of 10 or something that you consider respectable. So try that out. The second one, I find that people have a tendency to move up well in the 2-arm swings, but the 1-arm swings tend to look a little bit different. When the bell's heavy, they slow the bell down using their grip strength, and the technique kind of goes. So I do something called a 2-1-1 swing, where you're going to do 2 arms, you're going to let go at the top, and then hike it through, and then do your single arm swings, and back to 2. That 2-arm swing is going to give you a rest on that 1 arm, so you're not constantly doing single arm swings all the way through. So what I'm going to do is I'll take my heavy bell, I'm going to hike it through, switch at the top, back to 2. That'll give me the rest. 1, back to 2. I try to tell my clients, make the 1s look like the 2s. So what that means is my 2s look really good technique. I want the 1s to look the same. I don't want to squat or slow it down or hike it up with my back. I want to try to make the 1s look like my 2s. That's a good goal to go by. The second exercise is the clean. So clean, we're going to do a single arm clean for the sake of it. Bringing it up to the rack position. Simplest thing you can do is when you bring it up to the rack position, just practice a lot of farmer's walks in the rack position. As I talked about earlier for the techniques section, spend time with the weight. So when I keep it in here, keeping good posture and doing my farmer's walks, I'm going to get used to that weight being up here. So when I do go into this spot, it's not going to be too dramatic and like, whoa, this weight's really heavy. So if I spend time up there, all I have to do is basically build a swing and get to that position, and I'll feel it. The second thing you can do with the heavy weight is do something I call the guided clean. You're going to take your other hand and you're just going to gently guide it into the rack position. So I'm going to use this hand. I'll use it pretty heavily in the beginning, and then when I start feeling a little bit better, I'm going to slowly take it away, so my right arm that's working is going to do most of the work. So I'm going to hike it through, and I'm going to guide it up. It's a little low, go a little higher here. That's better. Hike it through, guide it up. And as I go along, less of a guide, less of a guide, less of a guide, until I'm pretty much using no assistance from this hand at all. So those are the 2 for the clean. For the snatch, same thing. You're going to practice overhead farmer walk. So the first drill, you're going to get overhead, lock it down, keep your good posture, try not to use a ton of energy. So if you're going to hold it out here, you're going to use a lot more. Try to keep it over your hips. This is the finish of the snatch, and you're going to do your farmer walk. I like to practice the turn with it too, because that's going to help stabilize the rotator cuff muscles and just get you really used to doing the weight with a heavier bell. Usually the swing and the legs are pretty strong. It's the shoulder that can't handle the new weight. So just getting it to lock in that position is key for the snatch. The second drill I like for the snatch, I call it one swing, one snatch, but you can also do it in any variation. You can do a couple swings and one snatch. Basically, it's building from the swing. So you want to do a nice strong swing. When you feel comfortable, you're going to pop it into the snatch. So I'll do 3 and 1, 2 and 1, 1 and 1. You can do any combination of it. So I'll do 3 strong swings. So I'm trying to get my swing going. 3 on the 4th one. I feel good and I do my snatch. So I can't do this repetitively because it's a heavy weight. So I'm just going to go back down. 2, and then I can do this one. Bring it up. Then when I start getting really good, 1 swing, 1 snatch. 1 swing, 1 snatch. So that's going to train you until you can work up to repetitive snatch with the heavy weight. Last one is the get up. So one of my favorite exercises, I like to break the get up because I think it's 5 exercises in one. One movement I think that is probably the most difficult is the first movement of the get up, the sit up. So we're just going to practice the sit up. So let's assume this is my heavy bell. I'm going to bring it in, lock everything down, get in my position, and I'm going to practice just the first part, getting up to the forearm. So I'm going to practice getting up, stabilizing, and then controlling my body down. What you don't want to do with the heavy bell is sit up like this, losing your posture, or once you are sit up, going down like that, caving and falling down. Really focus on the eccentric motion too, because that's going to build up strength in the shoulder and the core. So I'm going to sit up, control down, reset if you have to, bring it down if you have to if it's heavy, and do sets of 3 to 5. So that's a good way to get it going, because I feel once you get going with that first step, it's just going to be shoulder endurance at that point, so we're going to address that now. The second phase is taking your heavy bell and doing the get up from the top just to the bottom. The reason why that's easier is you don't have to overcome gravity in the sense that you have to sit up or you have to get into the bridge or out of the lunge. You're just going down and controlling your body now. So that's going to build up shoulder stability and core stability. So then when you do go up, you're going to have that strength, endurance in the shoulder. So I'm going to get my bell up, and this is pretty much the halfway point of the get up. I'm just going to go down. I'm just going to practice the reverse motion. So I'm going to slide back, drop down, pivot my foot, find the floor, lock everything in, on the ground, and I'll practice my slow eccentric. So I'm not going to sit up from here. I'm going to bring it down. I'll go back up, maybe do the other side, maybe do another rep on my strong side, and then just practice the downward motion. Then when you feel good, you can start sprinkling in the full get up with the heavier weight. So those are some tips for moving up in heavier weight with the kettlebell. Check them out in My Mad Methods magazine, coming out pretty soon, and go strong.